Welcome to Sierra's Crafty Creations, where I share crochet and knit tutorials. Today we're going to be making this beautiful interlocked diamond blanket pattern. This is such a fun pattern. I know it might look very difficult, but we're going to be using chains and double crochets and single crochet in this pattern. It's a 2-row repeat, so you're going to be doing the same 2 rows over and over again to create this beautiful pattern. So don't let the shape intimidate you. One of my favorite parts about this blanket is that it's a very nice dense stitch, so it's great for a blanket to keep you nice and warm. And another little fun fact, it looks like this on the front and on the back. So you're going to have that same great diamond shape on both sides. All right, friends, let's go ahead and jump into all the materials that you're going to need to create your very own interlocked diamond blanket. I'm using a size 5mm H crochet hook. This is my Clover hook. Has a nice little grip. Highly recommend these hooks. You will need a size 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm using Red Heart yarn today in this beautiful turquoise color, and then my second color will be this light gray. Both size 4. You want to make sure when you're checking your yarn, it will have the number 4 here, and you can use any brand that you'd like. In this graphic, you'll see a breakdown of how much yarn you'll need per size. This is broken down in the yardage that you'll need per color, and since we're using 2 colors, you're going to need this amount for both colors. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle to weave in your ends at the very end of the project. So those are the materials that you're going to need. Let's go ahead and jump into our tutorial. We're going to start with our main color, and I'm going to be using the light gray for my main color. And we are going to create a slip knot to start. Insert your hook. And I will throw the graphic on the screen to show you how much you should chain for each size blanket that you want to create. Here's the breakdown for the chain count that you'll need for each size. I'm going to be creating a small sample swatch just to show you how to create the stitch pattern for your blanket. But go ahead and refer to the graphic for how many chains you should create to start for the size of blanket you desire. For me, I'm going to be chaining 45. So you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, pull it through the slip knot. That's your first chain. Grab your yarn, pull it through the loop on your hook. That's your second chain. So go ahead and create your chains. I'm going to be creating 45 just for my small swatch. And you can chain as many as you need for the blanket size that you are making. Once you have the right number of chains, we are going to start with our first foundation row. We're going to have 2. So this is going to be our first foundation row. And to do that, we're going to be creating a double crochet in the 10th chain from our hook. So this is our first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So in this 10th stitch, you're going to yarn over your hook, insert it into the 10th chain, grab your yarn from the back, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Going to grab your yarn, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and that's a double crochet. And we're going to place another double crochet in the chain right next to it. So yarn over, insert into the very next chain, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So you'll have 2 double crochets right next to each other. Then we're going to chain 3. So yarn over your hook, pull through the loop on your hook. That's 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to skip 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. Yarn over your hook, insert into that 4th chain, and create a double crochet. Then place another double crochet in the chain right next to it. And we're going to keep repeating that. So we're going to have 2 double crochet, chain 3, skip 3, 2 double crochet. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, insert into the 4th chain, create a double crochet, and then a double crochet in the chain right next to it. So go ahead and keep repeating that all the way down your chain. Chain 3, skip 3, double crochet in the 4th, and double crochet in the chain right next to it. Once you get to the end of your chain here. I have 4 chains left, so you're going to chain 3, skip 3, and then end with 1 double crochet in that very last chain. All right, so that is going to end our row. 1 double crochet in the very last chain. And so this is what it'll look like. You'll have spaces, 2 double crochet, space, 2 double crochet. So this is what our first foundation row is going to look like. So for this pattern, we're going to be interlocking our diamonds, right? So we want to pull up a big loop, a big enough loop like this, so it won't come undone. And we're just going to leave that hanging. I know it can be a little scary, but pull up a big loop so it doesn't come undone. And now we're going to grab our secondary color. All right, so we ended on the left, and we are going to attach our secondary color to the right. So we're starting on the same side and ending on the same side for both colors. It's a little different than how you normally use 2 colors in a pattern. So we're going to make a slip knot with our second color. And what we're going to do is come to our initial chain from the beginning, and we're going to go look at this for reference. Our first double crochet, there's a chain and a second chain. You're going to want to insert your hook into the second chain to the right of your double crochet. So here's our very first double crochet. Here's the first chain and the second to the right of it. You're going to insert your hook into that second chain, so it's in the middle there. Attach your second color, put your slip knot onto your hook, pull it down, and then you're going to pull it through. And that's how you're going to attach it. And we're going to chain 6. So yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. That's your first chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're just going to push this tail to the bottom so that we can get it out of the way there. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going in front of our first foundation row, right? So what we're going to do is yarn over our hook, and we're going to go behind. So we're going to go behind and under this chain 3. So taking your hook, going behind through this space, and we're going to go through the same exact chain that we slip stitched into. So that second chain to the right of the very first double crochet. So the same one we slip stitched into, you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn from the back, and we're creating a double crochet. All right. Let me pull up just so I can show you guys here. So our beginning chain lays in front of our first foundation row. Going behind, you can see this bar goes across. So we're going in front and then behind the work. And we're going to be doing that all the way across. So that's how we're interlocking them, going in front of and behind the work to interlock them. So we got our first set there. We're going to go to our next chain 3 space. We're going to go in the middle chain. So there's 3 chains. We're going to go in the middle one here. And we just did a behind. So we're going to do behind on this section. So you're going to yarn over your hook, go behind. So you're going to go from the back in through this space, going through the middle chain here, inserting your hook through the middle chain of the 3, and then creating your double crochet as normal. All right, so now that's in the back of our work. Can you see that? Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to work in the front of this section, working in that very same stitch that we just worked in. So yarn over your hook, going in front of this section, going into the same stitch here, creating a double crochet as normal. Right? Can you see? So we worked in front, behind, then in the next section, behind and front. And so the next chain 3 section, we're going to do in front, then behind. So you're going to yarn over, working in this middle chain here, the very bottom, working in front of, and creating a double crochet as normal. Create a chain 3. Now we're going to be working behind this section. So yarn over, going behind your work, going into the same exact stitch, that middle stitch there. All right, and then creating your half double crochet as normal. And we're going to keep doing this all the way across, and I will go ahead and complete my section with you guys on camera because I think this is the trickiest part here, is getting the hang of the back and forth. So we ended with a behind, so the next section we're going to start with a behind. So yarn over, going from behind into that middle stitch, creating a double crochet, chain 3, going in front, so yarn over, go in front of the work here, create a double crochet. We ended with a front, so we're going to start our next section with the front. So yarn over, going in front into that middle stitch, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet behind, so going under and through into that same exact stitch and creating my double crochet. We ended with a behind, so we're going to start with a behind in this section, going behind into that middle chain, creating my double crochet, chain 3, going in front of my work in the same stitch, creating a double crochet. All right, and I have 2 more. I ended with an in front, so I'm going to start my next section with a front double crochet, chain 3, then go behind in the same stitch, create a double crochet. All right, now we're towards the end where our loop is from our first foundation row. We ended with a behind, so we're going to start with a behind, double crochet in the middle stitch, chain 3, and end with a front. All right, and that is how we're going to end that row. And the same thing like we did here, we're going to pull up a really big loop. Now we've completed our 2 foundation rows. This is going to be technically the right side of our work. So our next 2 rows are going to be the wrong side of our work. So these are our first 2 foundation rows. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn our work, being careful of your loops here. And then we're going to start on row 1. Since these are our foundation rows, the next row is going to be our first official row 1. All right, going to insert your hook into your main color. My main color is, or your first color, the one we started with. So for me, it's this light gray. And we're going to chain 6. And we're going to leave the second color in the back here. And we're going to be working 2 double crochets in these 2 stitches. So we're working with our first color, so we're going to be working our stitches in the first color row from foundation row 1. Okay, so you're going to yarn over your hook, and we're going to insert. You can move your stitches around, it's totally fine to move them around so you can see them better. The 2 double crochets from foundation row 1, you're going to place a double crochet in each of those. So right now, my second color is laying on top of them. So I'm going to push those out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to go right into these stitches and create a double crochet right on top of those, like that. And then I'm going to chain 3. And the next set of double crochets are in front of my next color. So you'll be working them in the front, right here in these stitches. So you're going to create a double crochet in these 2 double crochets in the front, chain 3. Next set, you're going to double crochet in the back. So you can move those colors out of the way and create 2 double crochets. And you're going to keep doing that all the way down. So you're going to be alternating between the front, where your color is right there in the front, and then the next set is going to be in the back. So chain 3, 2 double crochets, and your double crochets from foundation row 1. So go ahead and keep repeating that, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Once we reach the end, this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, chain 3 in our main color, and we're going to create a double crochet in that chain 3. So we counted from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to create 1 double crochet to end that row. And you're going to pull up a big loop and leave that hanging. So that's the end of our row. Again, this is our wrong side. And now we're going to go back to the right side here, and we're going to work on row 2, which is going to be with our secondary or accent color. For me, it is this teal. And what you're going to want to do is insert your hook right here, grab your loop, and pull it towards the front. And then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And pulling that to the front creates this in the front of our work. So our double crochet, our first one in this chain 3 space, is going to go from behind. So you're going to go behind and under this chain, and then you're going to work a double crochet around the chain 3 space of your previous accent color row. So create a double crochet just around the chain 3. Doesn't have to be in a particular space this time. So there's our front, and then there's our back. And it's going to be the same like we did before. So the next section, the next chain 3 space over here, we ended with a behind. So we're going to start with a behind, going behind and under, creating a double crochet just around the chain 3 space. Chain 3, and going in front of the work. So going in front, grabbing that chain 3 space, and creating a double crochet. And like I said before, these rows are the hardest ones because you have to keep going back and forth, and you have to make sure you're doing it in the right sequence. So this one is the tougher of the two to get the hang of, but once you do, you'll be able to work this up in no time. So we ended with an in front double crochet, so we're going to start our next one with an in front double crochet around that chain 3 space. Chain 3, going behind, grabbing that chain 3, and creating a double crochet. So go ahead and keep doing that with that pattern. We started with the behind, chain 3, and do an in front double crochet. All right, so go ahead and keep repeating that until the end of your row, and I will meet you at the end. Once we reach the last chain 3 space of the row, I personally ended with a behind. So I'm going to start my last one with a behind double crochet, chain 3, and finish with an in front. And for different sizes, this might be different. So this is just for my sample size here. You're going to end with your final double crochet, pull up your loop, and now we are going to turn our work. So this is our wrong side, and this is the right side. So you can start seeing that fun diamond shape taking place. And now we're going to be doing rows 3 and 4, and they're just going to be repeat rows now at this point, now that our first 2 rows. So we did 2 foundation rows, and then we just finished rows 1 and 2 of the pattern. So those are going to be, we're going to keep repeating those rows 1 and 2. So the last 2 that we just did, we're going to keep repeating those until you reach the length of your blanket. Okay, so this is going to be row 3, and this is going to be my main color. So my gray color, I'm going to pull the loop down a little bit, insert my hook, and chain 6. And then I'm going to, this is the easy row where we're going to be doing 2 double crochets, chain 3. So my first set of double crochets is behind. So I'm just going to move the stitches out of the way, create a double crochet in this one, and a double crochet in the next. Chain 3. My next set of double crochets is in the front. Chain 3, and keep going. you'll alternate between back, front, placing your 2 double crochet stitches, chain 3, and go ahead and keep doing that until the end of the row. And remember, to end your row, you're going to pull your chain front and center here. 1, 2, 3, you're going to count from the bottom up till 3 and create a double crochet in that 3rd chain to finish your row. Then pull up your loop. And now we're going to go to row 4. So every time that you're working on your accent color, this is when we're going to take our hook and pull it through the front. So it's in the front and you're grabbing your yarn from the back. So you're kind of sandwiching this corner right here to create your chain 6. And then because that's the front, we're going to create a double crochet in the back around that chain 3, that very first chain 3. Then in your next space, you're going to start with a back double crochet, chain 3, and do a front double crochet around that same chain 3. All right, and go ahead and keep doing that. Hopefully you have the hang of the going back and forth between those. So I ended with an end of the front. I'm going to start my next chain 3 with an in the front double crochet, chain 3, behind double crochet in the same chain 3 space. The next chain 3 space, I'm going to start with a behind, chain 3, double crochet in the front around the same chain 3 space. All right, so go ahead and keep repeating that until the end of your row. All right, and when we are coming to our last chain 3, go ahead and do whatever sequence. For me, it's a behind, double crochet, chain 3, and then an in front. So I'm going to pull this so that I make sure I'm going in front of it into that chain 3 space, creating my final double crochet and pulling up a loop. All right, so this is our right side, and right here, this middle row, we can see a complete diamond. Look how pretty it is. I love this stitch. It is so fun. I love seeing it work up. It is just so fancy. All right, friends, those are the repeats. So you're going to keep repeating those last 2 rows, the ones that we just did together. You're going to keep repeating those until you get the length that you desire. I will put up a graphic here so that you guys can see the row count for the size, for each size blanket, and you can go ahead and follow that for whatever blanket size you decided to make. Now for the last part, again, this is just my sample size, so it's just a little bit. I'm going to show you how to end your blanket. So the final row, after you do all of the repeats, you're going to end with your main color row. So when you finish your last accent row, we're going to do our final row of the blanket. We're going to put our loop, our main color loop, towards the back, and we're going to chain 1 around to sandwich that like that, and then we're going to create a single crochet in this very first stitch here, going around both colors. So we're just kind of sandwiching that in like this, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to create a single crochet in our double crochet spaces. So instead of a double crochet, we're going to do single crochet in both of those, chain 3, single crochet in the next set of double crochet stitches, chain 3, single crochet in the next double crochet stitches. So you're going to keep doing that all the way across, and this is going to just finish off your blanket. And once you come to the very end, just like the beginning, we're going to go around both of these just to secure them. So we're going to go count up to our chain 3 here, insert into our main color, but we're going to go through both. So I'm going to grab my yarn from the very back, create my final single crochet here, and that is going to complete it. And then you can cut off your yarn. I like to chain one and pull through to create a nice little knot there. And you can do the same thing for your second color. You can tie off. All right. And that is where our yarn needle is going to come in handy. So you would just thread your needle with all of these loose ends and just weave them in through your project to hide them. And then your blanket is finished. Again, this is just a little strip, but I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and I hope that you love your interlock diamonds blanket. I would love to know what color combos you guys did. So let me know in the comments what colors you chose for your blanket. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can see all my future crochet and knit tutorials. I'll catch you on the next one.